Hello, thanks for tuning in. You're about to enjoy another episode that will inform you, encourage you, and inspire you. Happy listening. Hello, welcome to Informative Conversations Podcast. My guest today is Dr. Sherry Y. Smith. Sherry is the creator of alifeoffinancialfreedom.com and author of Help, Broke and Need Money Now. Welcome, Sherry.
Hi, Jacqueline. How are you?
I am doing well. It's good to see you.
Likewise.
So I want to let my listeners know that Sherry is a dear friend of mine. She has done so much when it comes to finance, been able to educate and help so many people. So I want to spend this time, the progress that she has made, I want her to share with my listeners. And this is a great time, the season we're in, to have someone that you can trust and that can teach you and that is willing to help you. Tell my listeners a little about you in 1 minute or less.
Wow, Jacqueline, I cannot believe it's been 4 years. Congratulations to you. And thank you so much for having me on today. As you stated, I am the founder and creator of the website, alifeoffinancialfreedom.com. I offer insights to help people take control of their financial futures, especially women. And I talk about empowering those individuals with the knowledge and tools to achieve financial independence, wealth building strategies, financial literacy, all of that.
And you use different tools to do it. So you've learned a whole lot about finances over the years. So tell us a little bit about your story. It may take more than a little bit. And I want you to include in there some of your businesses and talk about your goal to retiring early.
Ooh, where do I start? Let's start with I was a broke single parent, raising a daughter all along, of course, with the help of family. So that's where, and we were raised, as they say, poor, couldn't afford the OR. So all the strategies along the way, I've learned over the years, having multiple streams of income, all of that just to help raise my financial knowledge. And in the process, sharing it with others that want to know about increasing their wealth. Yes, I do have multiple streams of income. I've never believed in just having a 9-to-5 job because it is just that just over broke thing. I've always believed in multiple streams of income. So I have a content creation business. I have a Merch by Amazon business that you mentioned where I design T-shirts, put them up, and then they generate income on their own. I am also an Amazon influencer with different products that I recommend for my Airbnb business, which means I do have an Airbnb business. I've been doing Airbnb for, I want to say over 12 years now, and I've been a super host in the process. I did build an ADU, which is separate property. An ADU stands for accessory dwelling unit. A lot of people will know it as a granny flat or a mother-in-law suite. And I'm very active with that. I do have a Turo business where I rent out a vehicle, and that's where you can rent your own personal car. I do a few one-off projects here and there as copywriting, proofreading, and I do a fair amount of celebrity work here in the Los Angeles area. And by that, I mean, I might be the assistant stage manager. I might do registration. So a little bit of all of that. It makes life so interesting and profitable.
So I want to go back to your humble beginning. What are some of the things that made you say, I don't have to live like this? I am going to be financially successful, and I am going to help others and pull others up. And you set a goal to not only retire early, but to also get your doctorate degree. How many years were in between the time that you set your mind to retire early until you retired?
I'll say that whenever I ended up retiring from the federal government, did an early retirement, and I've been in what I call semi-retirement for going on 6 years now. And whenever I got this job with the government, I remember calling my auntie and telling her that I feel like I have sold out. I am working for the man, the government. I enjoy that job a lot. Have good friends that I always have. It's six-figure income, all that good stuff. But I went in working that job saying to myself, this is going to be the last more or less permanent 9 to 5 that I ever work because I just don't want to be shut up and encaged in an office the rest of my life. And it was like having what they call golden handcuffs, good benefits, good job, flexible time, all of that good stuff. But working a straight 9 to 5 is just never, I've always felt encaged. And that's just me personally. And I think a lot of that fueled my wanting to do extra things on the side, from doing my one woman show to just all my entire life. And my sisters remind me that, girl, you remember even in high school, you were selling stuff like, oh, let's go sell this candy. And so it goes a long ways back. That drive was just always in me. And I think a lot of that may have to do with the fact that I was a really big reader books growing up before we had Kindles and all that other good stuff. And I could always visit the world just from reading. And now, of course, I've been fortunate enough to visit or travel the world. But as a young kid growing up in Calypso, North Carolina, it even sounds country, doesn't it? You just don't know what you know coming up. And one other thing that one of my sisters reminds me of, she was like, girl, remember when we were in high school and we were going to a party and we wanted new outfits and you said, girl, let's go pick some beans and some bell peppers and make enough money to buy them. I said, did we really do that? She said, you were always on that hustle, girl. We got those. Well, first, I would say to the younger generation, kudos to them, because some of these young kids are doing it up. I mean, making big strides, big money. They are really doing well. And I also tell them you are so fortunate because look at all of the things you have at your fingertips that we did not have, where you propel your future. You have Google, you have Pinterest, you have X, you have just so many avenues to reach the entire world that we did not have, even as far as affiliate income. Just so much more stuff that we have. So I would encourage them to just, go for all that you can. It's right at your fingertips.
And go for it means working.
Means working for it. And I just had someone called me last week. I don't know what I want to do in life. And one of the things you should consider doing to find out what your passion is, what is it that you like to do, interview some of your relatives or close friends, and also think about what is it that people are always asking me about or asking me for information on. And that is a clue into what your passion may be that you don't even know. So a lot of people say, hey, I'm having problems with this program. Can you come over and show me how to do it? Oh, yeah, I can do that. So that might mean you are good technically. But if you really don't know what your passion and drive is or what you're good at, that you could teach others or start an app or anything, ask people around you. What do you think of me? What do you think when you think of me? Or think about what people ask you about. I have so many friends that ask me, well, how did you retire early?
Yes.
How did you build an ADU? So from all of those questions, especially about my property, well, how did you build that property? And I created a course. Because that course can reach so many more people than me doing a one-on-one trying to tell people, oh, well, do this. Well, did you check with the city on this? Reach out to people and ask them think about what they're always asking you about. So if you don't know what you could start a business on or what you're good at, that's a good indication right there.
So back to my question. my original question, how many years from the time you set your mind to do it to retire did it take for you to retire?
Well, from the first day I started working a job, like, oh, this is not for me. And that was in my early 20s. So I'll say that I worked at the federal government for like almost 11 years. That was my last real
Wow.
9 to 5 job. And I did
Wow.
go in there thinking, man, I feel like I've sold out because this thing over here that I've done should have blown up by now. But that also, and so what I would tell anybody, and I've had it bad in the past, is that shiny object syndrome, where you jump into this, oh, I'm gonna do this, jump over here, oh, I'm gonna do that, jump over here. That in itself can be a dream killer. Focus in on a niche or something that you love and want to do and carry it through to fruition. Don't just jump around from, ooh, and I've been so guilty of that in the past. Even now, because I do so much stuff, I have to I have to rein myself in and say, okay, Sherry, you want to get into this affiliate ad program. Let's focus on building these sessions. Let's focus on. So I struggle with that, and I've gotten so much better at it since I have retired. But I've had it bad in the past. So rein yourself in and really narrow down and keep focus on something. Here's another fault that I've had in the past. You can't do everything yourself. So at some point, you need to get a team of people to help you out.
And the team of people, but a lot of people say I can't afford a team.
I think you can't afford not to have a team. And there are all variations of money that you can go to as far as putting a team together. You can start if you need Pinterest posts, if you need Instagram posts, you can inexpensively hire a virtual assistant to do some of those things. You can and go to sites like Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com, Upwork. There are so many places. You can even collaborate with a college and get an intern that they would love to do that kind of work to put on their future resume. So you just have to open up your mind to some possibilities.
I know you always want to help somebody. Every time you're doing something, you want to share it with somebody and help them and do this. And you haven't always gotten back positive things about what you're doing. So what are some of the things you did to overcome the negativity and naysayers along your journey?
You need to surround yourself with people that are looking to do some of the same things that you want to do, and some people that are doing greater things than you. So right now, I am really working on building my real estate portfolio. So I'm on meetups that are talking about real estate, in professional groups that are talking about it. So you need to surround yourself with those type of people. I was talking to a relative of mine, I want to say maybe like 4 years ago, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, Sherry, you are always talking about money. Are you, you think you might be a little money hungry?" But in the next sentence, they asked me for a loan. So you really have to surround yourself with, if you want to be a millionaire, put yourself in millionaire positions where you're around people. Maybe that means always I am a lifelong learner. You need to continue to learn. Does it mean, it might mean going to a personal finance conference. It might mean going to whatever you're interested in. If you're interested in being or if you are a graphic artist, you need to go to those different kind of classes and courses and conferences.
Yeah, create community.
Yes, you have to continue to learn and surround yourself with those types of people. And envision yourself being the person that you want to be. I'm real big on manifestations and all of that. You got to be yourself.
And praying and trusting God and writing the vision.
Got to have some
making it plain.
Yes, got to believe in a higher power.
What are some other things that you wish you had known that you didn't know then that you could share with someone else?
One thing that comes to mind is You don't always have to start at the biggest scale of what you want to do. And that always reminds me of a traveling expo that I did. Oh, this was like 20 years ago, called It's a Love Thing. It was on love and relationships. They had different vendors come in. Oh, it was done on such a grand scale, but I did not have to start. It was at the convention center in Atlanta. Now, this is like over 20 years ago, but I could have started that event on by renting out a small ballroom or a couple of adjoining hotel rooms. I have just learned that you don't have to run before you walk. So, and then it also goes back to now when I do things, I try to do it with a team of people. So even at that point, I could have, I had people that were helping, but not a quote unquote team. So that was one of the first things in life that gave me the inclination to start small for me before and learn in the process. And I did a one-woman show just a few years ago that I wrote and performed. I did it here, did it in Spain, and Atlanta, a few other places. With that, I did pre-ticket sales. I even did, oh Lord, what do you call, like, not the GoFundMe, but the other one to raise funds ahead of time. So that was one of those processes where it was like, okay, let's do this step by step and start small and grow it.
You're pretty brave. I mean, pretty brave to get out there. Your faith is strong for you to, just do some of the things that you do. So what is the thing that keeps you motivated?
Knowing that I have not reached the pinnacle of what I want to do yet. I know my friends and family that know me like, oh my gosh, you've been on Soul Train, you know this person, you know that person, you created this, you've done it. But I still feel that the best in me is yet to come. I know that might sound a little hokey, but I really do feel that way. And my inspiration is, of course, my family, my daughter. I believe that to whom much is given, much is expected. So I have a little sister in the Big Brother, Big Sister program that I just, that's inspiration and older. So, you had to bring up the younger generation. So that's inspiration to me.
So do you ever think that sometime maybe this is just your gift?
I do believe that it's my God-given gift. I remember another sister saying to me a few years ago, Sherry, how do you think of this stuff? Where did that even come from? Now, for that, I will say that I do love TV like the average person, but I also believe that TV is a dream stiller. It will steal your dreams because now sometimes I go to the movie because I need a mental break and I want to be engaged in something. So many people come home, they eat, sit in front of the TV, get up. You have got to have some me time to let your brain breathe and create. And I remember one of the books, the first book I ever wrote was Bedroom Pleasures, 40 Ways Men Succeed in Bed. It's still available on Amazon. But I remember sitting in church. A lot of ideas used to come to me in church, and that one came to me in church. And it's just like spiritually, my mind is free, and it just came to me. So you need to find out what it is in your life that allows you to dream creatively. We have our phones now. If something comes to you, type it down, write it down. I keep a little notepad beside of my bedstand. So if I have a dream and it's still on me when I wake up, I will write it down. So you got to allow yourself, you can't just, and I love technology. I was a computer programmer in the past. So I love technology just as much as the last person, but you have to do some commuting with nature. Some walking, some running, meditating, whatever. You've got to give your mind a chance to be creative.
And that's something I know about you is that you take vacations, you go on trips, and that's a lot because you allow your body to get that rest that it needs.
Mm-hmm.
But with all this going on in your mind, doing all these different things and helping other people in the midst of it, and what does time management look like to you?
Because I occasionally still have that shiny object syndrome and semi-retired now, and I'm also on the leadership track and I'm in a sorority. My time is so tight sometimes. I don't like to be on my phone late at night. After a certain amount of time, I need my downtime. I need that goes back into my mind. So you have to be responsible for saying, I can't do that. If you need to put your phone on, which I never do that, I'm going to start doing, putting your phone on do not disturb. Uh, I have found that if I get a sufficient amount of sleep, that I am able to get up the next day, eat some breakfast, and I am roaring to go. So right now, my time management, I try to knock out as much as I can by 1 o'clock and then have the afternoon to myself. I'm in LA. I'm close to like 2 or 3 beaches. I love going to the beach. I have a motorcycle. I love time on my bike. So you've just got to, my time management skills could be better. You've just got to bring them in and learn that no is a one-word sentence. You just can't
Yes,
do
yes,
it all.
yes. No is a complete sentence. That is correct. Okay. Well, Dr. Smith, thank you, first of all, for being here. Thank you again and for sharing all that you have. But if someone wants to do a consultation with you and talk with you, tell us your contact information and also tell us about some of your programs that you're currently promoting.
I can be reached at Sherry, that's SHERRY, at alifeoffinancialfreedom.com. And Jacqueline, I've also created a list of freebies for your listening audience, and that can be found at alifeoffinancialfreedom.com/IC, and I for informative, C for conversation.
Thank you.
That's going to include, if they're interested in Airbnb, there's a checklist for Airbnb essentials that you might need. There's also an ebook included there for 40 side hustle ideas and about side hustle goals. There's a ton of freebies I put together for your listening audience.
So, Dr. Smith, can you tell my listeners also, I know you have some other programs coming up. Can you talk about those?
Yes, we have membership program coming up on building wealth and strategies to building wealth. It is called a means to millions.com. So if you go there and get on the waiting list, you will be notified when all of that comes up. And we came up with that name of means to millions because all of us have something inside of us that we already have to make our $1 million. So we all have a means to millions. We just to find out what it is. So we have that coming up. We have, because I get so many calls on Airbnb, we also have an Airbnb course called How to Live Rent Free. You can live practically rent free by doing Airbnb. So all of that is going to be, we'll put that at the bottom of the resource list that we put together for your listening audience.
Dr. Smith, what if audiences wanted to contact you on other platforms? What are some of your other means of contact?
Jacqueline, your audience can also reach me on all the social medias. I am on Pinterest, Instagram, X, and Facebook at alifeoffinancialfreedom.com.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Smith. Have a great day. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, hit that like button and share it with others. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you're always in the loop. And most importantly, stay encouraged.